Video we are going to discuss I'm going to show basically how to do ABC classification using Python. So this ABC classification is very well and generally known methodology for product classification. So in any industry we do classify the products basis their value, basis their sales volume, basis the profit they are making. So it depends on the business requirements. For any of this kind of situations, we all need this classification of products. So in most of the cases, uh, generally people tend to use this ABC methodology where A class items, B class items, C class items. So A class items are like generally high value items with high service level, and B class items are moderate value items with moderate service level, and C class items are these are low value items. Generally, people will not won't give much service level to these products because these are all kind of standard products which is easily available in the market. Right. So this is about the theory of ABC classification. I'm not going to touch more into theory because most of us know this ABC classification. If not, if you do simple Google search, you will get a lot of material about this. Right. So the intent of this video is to explain how to conduct this ABC classification using Python, basically. So why Python is you can do this analysis using Excel or even Google Sheet. The basic disadvantage in Excel or Google Sheet is if the data size is more than 10 lakh rows. If the data is like if you have 1 year transaction or 2 year transaction, then you cannot really use Excel because it will get hang up, right? So that's the reason I have done this analysis using Python. And one more important factor is in Python we have packages. Even in Python or R also there are packages in R as well. Using those packages we can do this ABC classification easily. It will reduce lot of manual steps. That's the reason I have been chosen this Python. So the IDE which I'm using today is Google Colab. It is because Google Colab is free of cost and it is fast, and everybody can use this Google Colab. If you just do simple search like Google Colab, you will be able to get this. There is no restrictions. You don't need to install Python to use this Google Colab, right? So it is very simple. Like just open new notebook. You most of you might know this Jupyter notebook. If you don't know Python, then I recommend you to learn Python before using this analysis. Right. So if you have used Jupyter Notebook, Google Colab is also similar way. If you want, you can explore the learning videos of Google Colab, which is pretty simple. Okay, so let's talk about the data requirements. So to do this analysis, to classify the products into ABC classification, we might need minimum 1 year sales data so that we can classify the products basis the revenue of the items or the volume sales volume of the items. So it is again we can do this basis the profitability of the items as well. So it depends on the business requirement, right? So these are all business divisions. For example, the business decisions. For example, if you are a data analyst or supply chain analyst, you would like to do this product classification, then you can follow the steps. Whatever the data size, it might be like 1 year data, 2 year data, 3 years data, 5 years data, doesn't matter. Python can easily do this without much time. Okay, so the minimum requirement is minimum at least 1 year transactions are required, right? Okay, we can download the data for this analysis. In this session I'm using the data set of a online store, which is located in UK. Online store transactions, 1 year transactions basically. I'm using in this analysis. Right. So to conduct this analysis, we need some of the packages in Python. I have listed out those packages here. Let's say we need pandas, numpy, seaborn, and these three packages. You guys, most of you might know this. The other one is inventorize package. So inventorize 3. I don't think most of you know this package, but this is basically to do this ABC classification. This package is created. So this is very useful package in ABC classification. If this package is not installed in your IDE, let's say if you are using Jupyter Notebook or Spider or PyCharm, any of these IDEs you can use. If it is not installed, then you need to install. And in Google Colab, by default it is not installed. You need to install that again. Rest of the packages, Pandas, NumPy, Seaborn, these are all by default installed in Google Colab. You don't need to install it, but you just need to call them here. Right. So let's just run. Okay, I'm running this in front of you guys. So for me, inventorize 3 is showing requirement already satisfied because I have already installed that. Right. So that's about the packages required for this analysis. When it comes to data set, let's download this data set from Kaggle. Right. So this is the URL, guys. You can just do a Google search. You will it will take you to the source of the data. So just click on this downloads the 7 MB thing. It will get downloaded. Then I have already downloaded it. If not, I can just download. It is asking for email news updates. Username is already taken. Okay, I need to sign in, guys. So let's sign in. Complete registration. Your profile URL. Kaggle.com. Next. Yep, I am signed in. So let's download this. So we got downloaded that, right? Let it be here. We'll come to this later. Then we need to import that data set to our Google Colab. So there are two ways to do this. One is you can give the source link. You can upload this data set to the Google Drive. Then you can give the path of that Google Drive in the Colab. So I prefer this. Let me tell you the other way is. So the other way is you just need to upload that data set to this Google Workspace. This is temporary, guys. If you close this collab file once, then if you open it again, then that data set is not saved in this collab. uh, workspace. That's the reason I don't prefer this method. If you just click here and say open, then it get uploaded over here, and then you don't need to specify the path like content drive, my drive, dataset data, and all these things. You just need to mention the file name in the inverted comma. Then it will Colab will be able to pick that file. But I'm choosing the previous method, which is I mentioned. In that, I just need to upload the data set to my drive, like click on new, then file upload, go to downloads. It was in my downloads. So it is taking time. I I already have the data set with right here, data.csv.zip, which is same file. But let it get uploaded, then I can show you that with you guys. It is taking some time. So if you are using Anaconda, Jupyter Notebook, or Spider, any ideas, then you can specify the path of the file in that ID. Here, then any IDE can able to pick the file. Spider. So there is one more thing. If the working directory of that particular this particular Python file is same as the working, the path of the data set, then you don't need to mention the path. You just need to mention the name of the file. If not, if the data set is in some other location, but your working directory of the IDE, at that instant is different, then you need to mention the path of the file. So let's see whether the data is uploaded or not. Okay, great. It is uploaded, right? Archive.zip. So let's navigate that in our Google Colab. I'm just refreshing it because I uploaded the data file to the drive. So let's see that in the drive. It is still connecting. You can see here. Google Colab is still connecting to the Google Drive. Once it is get connected, then if I click on this, yeah, it will show me the drive. So in my drive, if I look for this data, archive.zip, here it is. So let me just copy the path of the file. So just click on this here in this three dotted buttons, then click on copy path, done. Paste it over here. That's it. I've already done this. Okay, so we are good. Let me just execute this. Okay, it is showing me that drive. So I missed to uh, so this is not required. That's what it's saying. Let me just remove this. Okay, I removed this. Something happened. Okay, I pasted in the wrong location. Let me just paste that. All right, now it is done. Let's execute this. Great. So we are able to import the dataset to the Google Colab. So this is permanent, guys. If you close this file multiple times, and if you open anytime, any day, you don't need to import the dataset to the Google Workspace because you have directly given the path of the dataset which is located in the Google Drive. So if you have this dataset in the Google Drive, that's enough. So Google Colab can able to pick that directly from the drive. So I'm using one more syntax, encoding is equal to Unicode escape. This is because in this data set there are some special characters. To ignore those special characters, I need to use this. Otherwise, it will throw me some error. You can try it out. Try it out by removing this encoding syntax. If it is not able to read the data set, then you can again insert this syntax. Right. Okay, so let's see how the data look like. So for that, we can call the head function and we can specify number of rows we need. Let's say right now it is 6 rows, one, two, three, four, five, six. You need to remember one thing that in Python it is always start from zero, not from one. So there are 6 rows here. If I need to see only first 5 rows, then I can specify number of rows here. Generally by default it is 5. If you need any other variation, then you need to mention that number of rows. So let's see how the data is. So as I said earlier, this is a uh, online store transaction data. That's the reason we have invoice number here, which is unique, right? And then stock code. Stock code is also called as SKU. SKU code, stock keeping unit. So basically, a unique identification for each product, right? And then we have description of the product. Let's say, for example, for the first one, white hanging hard tea light holder. So this some light holder, and the quantity mentioned over here, invoice date. So the transactions happened on 2020 December 1st. Oh, sorry, 2010 December 1st. And the unit price, that means price per product is 2.55. Since it is UK, it is definitely pounds. Customer ID is also like unique. It is 17850. If you see the first 4 rows, same customer is bought, and it is same invoice number. So that's it about the data. It's a transactional data. So one thing we need to keep it in mind. We don't have revenue over here. We just have quantity sold and then unit price. If we need revenue, then we need to multiply this quantity into unit price. Okay, and then let's see how many rows are there in this data and how many columns are there. Columns we can easily count. There are just 8 columns here, and rows we cannot count by looking at this. So let's see if we can call shape method and we can see how many rows are there. There are around 5,41,909 rows and 8 columns. So that is great. Let's do some data cleaning activities. Right. So, and let us see, let us understand. So, what is the minimum data period and maximum data period in this transaction? So, to do that, we need to convert this, um you know, column date, invoice date to date time type, because I don't know whether this is in which type that invoice date column. Let's see that. Let's check. Let us check the types of the columns, which data type it is, whether it is string or integer or date time or object. Right. So our data frame is star data. So to check data type, we just need to call data type. Then we can see series object is not callable. Okay. Then just say date types. Okay. This is method. If it is function, then you can use open bracket. If not function, if it is method, like in shape, we cannot use this open bracket. That's the reason it's thrown me error. So it's a method. For method, we don't need to use this open bracket. So invoice number is object. Object is basically a string or integer, whatever it is. So stock code is also object. Description is also object. Quantity is actually integer, which is correct. If you carefully observe this, invoice date also in object, right? So we need to convert this invoice date to a date and time format. Otherwise, we cannot able to calculate what is the minimum date and what is the maximum date. And unit price is in float, which is necessary, and customer ID is also float, but need not to be in float. But even if it is in float, doesn't matter. Country object, which is fine. So that's the reason here we are converting the invoice date column from object to this date time, right? So that is about the first syntax. Second syntax is I'm saying print raw data invoice date minimum, which is what is the minimum invoice date in the column invoice date, and on the same way maximum date. Let's execute this. So the shortcut to execute this Google Colab syntax is just shift run, like in Jupyter Notebook. So the minimum date is 2010 December 1st, and the maximum is 2011 December 9. So basically, it is a 1 year data set. So the a condition holds good. The data requirement condition, which we earlier discussed, is a 1 year data set, minimum 1 year data set, which we need for this analysis. So by looking at this data, it is 1 year data set. So let's go to next step. So it is satisfied our requirement in terms of data requirements. Let's see this data cleaning section. Basically, we need to drop the duplicates records if there any, and then we need to drop blank uh, rows if there any, and then we need to drop where the quantity is less than zero. So if you think practically in any transaction, if the quantity is greater than one only, it is a purchase, right? So if not, it might be some other backend transaction the store people might have done it. So that's the reason. Let's consider only the data where the quantity is greater than zero. So that's it. That is the data cleaning step. And then let's see after cleaning the data, what is our data dimension. So which is 3,92,732 rows, approximately 4 lakh. So I think more than 1 lakh rows data is been dropped off. Right. Okay. Then to do ABC classification, we don't need all these columns. We don't need this invoice number. We don't need this uh, invoice date. We don't need customer ID, country. These columns we don't need actually. So that's the reason. Let's just keep stock code, which is SKU code, and the description of that product, and quantity transacted, and then unit price of the product. So we'll just take only these four columns from the earlier data set, and then we're calling it as a new data frame, which is data one. Let's execute that, which is done. And then, as I already mentioned, we can do ABC classification basis the sales volume and basis the sales revenue. So in the data set, we do not have revenue. To calculate revenue, as I mentioned earlier, we have to multiply quantity into unit price. Then we will get revenue. So to add a new column, we just need to call like data frame inside the square brackets. We need to call the column name. In this case, it is new name, new column we are adding. Revenue is a new column. So single inverted comma inside that new column name. Then data one inside the square bracket quantity, and same way unit price. So if you multiply these two columns, then we will get the revenue. So let's execute this. So revenue column got added. Let's see how the data one data frame looks like. Okay, great. We can see that revenue column got added, and it is the multiplication of quantity and the unit price. Right. So, yep. Afterwards, we need to summarize this data for each SKU code, because there are a lot of transaction has been done for a same stock code, right? So to our to get a data set which is suitable for ABC classification, we need to summarize this. Summarize is basically like doing pivoting in Excel, right? So we'll do pivoting using stock code and description as a rows, and then revenue in as a values, revenue as a values, revenue, and then quantity is nothing but volume as a values. So sum of quantity is volume, sum of revenue is actually revenue column. So to do this pivot table kind of operation in Python, we need to call group by function. So in the group by, we are saying that we need stock code and description in for these two columns. We need to summarize the uh, other columns like quantity and revenue. You can see here group by stock code and for stock code and description aggregate. We are aggregating the this aggregate is a function, and then volume is actually new column which we are going to create. For this volume, we need to add up all the quantity, that is sum, right? Np dot sum. Np is actually numpy. So we are adding up uh, all the quantities for each stock code and description. So stock code and description is for each SKU ID there is a description. So it is we can consider it as a one column, right? For each SKU code we are getting the sum of quantity and sum of revenue. That's it, guys. And then we are using this reset index. Basically, it what it does is, so if you it reset the index of the first headings, first row. That means it's not a first row; it's actually a heading. So the stock code description, volume, revenue. Uh, if we don't use this reset index, let me show you how it comes. See, like you do pivot table, you will get this kind of pivot column names, right? So similar way in Python also, if you don't use this reset index, you will get this. To avoid this, you need to use this reset index syntax. Right. So that's it. You got what you want. We have SKU code, which is stock code, and description and volume of item sold, and then revenue of each item. Right. That's it. So afterwards, now the next step is we need to, and one more thing, guys. This table is not sorted. This table is not sorted basis volume or revenue. It's just basis the transaction volume. Earlier data set was sorted it out, and we just done the group by, and we haven't sorted using volume or revenue either. We'll do that. We don't need to sort because this inventorize package will take care of that while doing the ABC classification. So in the first method, let's do this ABC classification using the volume, sales volume, which is using this column. So let us identify the key volume drivers, right? So to do that, we need to call this inventorize package. So this inv is actually inventorize package, and in this inventorize package we are calling abc function. So here we're saying that in the data to which is a data frame, for description is actually this column. So and then volume. So here, so this is the name of the SKUs. We can either select SKU code or description, but I have selected description because by looking at SKU code, we cannot judge which item it is. That's the reason I have used description. Then you can use which is the parameter to make this ABC classification. In this case, it is volume, right? So let's run this. So it is classified into ABC categories. Let's see how it is. So it just added. You can see for a description, and here it is volume, and here it is percentage of volume for each SKU, and then cumulative volume. Then it is assigned the category, whether it is A class or B class or C class. So this table is showing basically first five items and then last five items. So first five items, obviously it is A class items because it is sorted basis the volume of the items. So you can see this paper craft little bridge. Not sure what it is. So this is the high volume driving product for this online store. So which is basically as around 0.015 percentage of share in the overall volume, which is pretty much less, but still comparatively higher than rest of the items. So likewise, all the other items share is listed out here in the percentage, and it is the volume absolute number, right? So basis that it has done the classification. Let's see what is the count of this classification. How many A class items are there, how many B class items are there, and how many C class items are there in this data set. So there are around 2143 unique C class items and 873 A class items, and there are around 875 B class items. It's totally around 1600 roughly plus 2000, which is 3600, close to 4000 unique items in this UK online store. So out of this 4000 items, we are classifying like A class, B class, C class. So generally speaking, um, this C class item share is more. It is more than 50%, which is practically correct. So in most of the cases, in most of the companies, C class item share is more when compared to A class and B class. So let's do some visualization. So here let's do some summary of the data. So it is basically we are checking that what is the volume share of A class items. You can see it is 8 close to 80 percentage. But if you look at the count wise, this is less than 20 percentage. So less than 20 percentage of items are responsible for 80 percentage of the volume. That means if you look after this just 871 items carefully, if you prioritize the service level for these items, if you make sure that um, your inventory is not stock out for these items, then you don't need to worry about your sales, because these are the items that they are responsible for 80% of your sales volume. That is the key thing. And look at this B class items. So this B class items also again around 20 percentage roughly. I did not calculate this. Let's calculate. I'm going to calculate what is the count share of this item. 879 plus 875 plus 2143, which is 3897 unique items in this retail store. So if I have to calculate what is the share of the A class items, account share, that means 879 T9 by 3897, which is 22 percentage. As I said earlier, I mentioned 20 percentage, which is roughly more or less it is correct. So this 22 percentage, this 875 is also roughly 22 percentage. This 22 percentage of items are contributing just 15 percentage of you know uh, sales volume in B class. And in C class, they when it comes to items count, it is around more than 50 percentage. More than 50 percentage of items are only making 5% of the sales volume. This is very 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 less compared to A class items. So A class items, just 22 percentage of items when it comes to count share are making 80 percentage of the sales revenue, sorry, sales volume. So this section is highlight in your business strategy should be prioritize this section of items if you are looking for sales volume drive, right? So this class categories you need to prioritize in terms of safety in terms of service level, so that your sales volume will be not affected. So if I need to explain this code bit, it is same guys. I'm just calling the group by the category. Right, this is the data table we have used for that group by data ABC. I'm using this category column. For category column, I am taking the aggregate of category. That means count of this, A class or B class, C class items, and then percentage count. That means the volume share of each category. That's it, guys. Then I'm just multiplying this percentage, which was in decimal, to just to convert it to uh, percentage. So for to convert decimal to percentage, I have just multiplied this percentage column by into 100. So we just got this. The 79 is actually in percentage. 79, 15, 5. So it makes 100 percentage. Right. So let's use Seaborn package and let's put some graph. So we need to use count plot just to check the count of the items which we already discussed, like C class 2143, B 875, and A 870. And just a simple visualizations, you can just explore this. And similar way, we are just calling the bar graph for the volume of the each class. Right, so here it is A class items. Uh, the volume is roughly 4800 something, and then B class item, which is it's actually an average of the volume of items. Right, so similar way we can do this ABC classification you basis sales revenue. Earlier we did using sales volume. So if the business priority is about revenue, then we can definitely use sales revenue as a parameter instead of sales volume. So to do this, we just need to call again inventory package and then ABC function. In that same way, description instead of volume, let's use revenue. Then we can able to see the classification here. Also almost same guys, pretty much same. Uh, A class items 809, B class items 960, C class item 2128. That means which is similar to sales volume classification. So that means the items which are responsible for the volume drive, those items only responsible for the revenue drive as well. Right. So that's the message we are getting it when we do classification both sales volume and sales revenue. Right. So this all about the product classification using ABC technique by using Python. So let me tell you the advantage of this analysis is, guys, if somebody assigns some project for you to do this product classification, if the data set is more, then definitely you can use this code as it is by just changing the data source, and then if you need to change the uh, data frames names, you can change. This is like a ready-made code for you guys to do this analysis. I will add this GitHub links in the comment section so that you can access both dataset and the code. For any queries or any suggestions, please let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, guys. This is my first video in YouTube. I'm looking forward for your suggestions and valuable feedback so that that will actually motivate me for the um, further analysis which I'm planning to upload in YouTube. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great